Live, let's just straighten out this camera so it's focused where it needs to be focused. Okay, there we go. Okay, welcome to Roberts & Co. Live at 5, it's long gone 5. Friday night. What are we doing? Live jewellery making session and whiskey tasting. It's been a busy week. I forgot where I was and what I was doing. We need to make some more gold rings. If you've watched the last 2 days live streams, you might think this is deja vu, but as I've said, we just need to make what the customers want, and that is gold rings, 1mm halos at the moment. If you watched yesterday's live stream, or even if you didn't, this is what we made yesterday. They're now polished. So we made 3 gold rings yesterday. That is a size Q, a size W, and a size Z. And today we need to make the same ring, same design, 1mm halos, but in size R and size X. First of all, as it's Friday, it's been a busy week. I think we deserve a little drink. Today we're going with Jura single malt Scotch whisky, aged 10 years. What's the deal with this? A rich and rounded, subtle smoky notes with a sweet sherry cask finish. The Isle of Jura distillery. I'm not going to read all that. I'm going to drink all that. So yeah, there we go. As you can see, I've had some of this before. It's very nice. I do. Right, cheers guys. That's very nice. Right, let's make some rings. Oh, copyrighted music. Copyright-free music, I should say, just in case. The windows are open. This is if you're not, I say this in all the live streams, you might not be watching this live, but we're recording this and broadcasting this live from London. It's still, it feels like it's September, but it's summer vibes. It's still pretty warm here in London. The windows are open. We're on a main road, busy road, double-decker buses, taxis pulling up. It's Friday night. The bars and restaurants downstairs are pretty busy. To cut a long story short, sound quality is going to be terrible, but to drown out some of that noise, and in case people are playing copyrighted music, we're going to play some copyright-free YouTube tunes. We're going classical by the looks of things. We're just starting at the top of YouTube's audio library. Classy. Right. This is 9 carat yellow 1mm wire that we made. If you watch our video about graphite ingot molds, this is the ingot in that video that I made in real time, just about probably a week or 2 ago. Then we turned it into 1mm gold wire, so that's what we're working with to make these rings. Right, first of all, size R. I've got this crib sheet which tells me the size, the length in millimeters that I need for each finger size. 62mm. This whiskey is actually really good. Tastes quite smoky. It says sweet sherry cask finish. I guess maybe that's what I can taste. Yeah, maybe that's what maybe that's what that is, the sherry finish. Kind of gives it, that sherry finish kind of gives it a sort of smokiness. Be great with a big fat cigar, a long fat cigar. Shout out to Kiba if you want to sponsor a video. With our subscriber count, we're lucky to get a pack of fags. Right, 62ml of gold, 9 carat gold, 1mm round. Bend that round a triplet. Oh, I forgot. For the last 3 days, I forgot to anneal that. I forgot to anneal this wire in the first place, and then I forgot yesterday, and I've forgotten to do it again today. Which is, it's not fully hard. It went through one hole of the draw plate before. Not, if it were two, it would be rock hard, and it would definitely need annealing. And kind of, the soldering process anneals it. Luckily, it's if we tried to do this without, and it was rock hard 2 holes, it would move so much during the when it anneals during the soldering process. The joints would just be terrible. But for the last couple of days, it's actually not moved. That's why I keep forgetting, because it hasn't actually caused any problem. The problem is forming them. It's just a bit hard to form. It's not as malleable as it ideally would be when fully annealed. So. Need a lot of thumb strength. Flux. That's what this is. I need some more meths in there. Actually, it's getting a bit lumpy. This is actually a brand of flux called Argo Tech, which I think is some sort of blend, probably of boric acid and borax, or one. It's either one of the two, or a mix of the two. I like mixing it with mesh. You can mix it with water. It's actually, I think it's sold, or certainly marketed as a flux for silver, to prevent or help inhibit fire stain. I think that was the blurb, or it wasn't. There's not a lot of blurb about it, but when you mix it with mesh, you can get quite a thick layer of flux. I use it for everything at the moment. But yeah, as a brand, it's I think it always was. I'm not sure if it still is. It always was sold as a silver flux, but whatever it is, you know, if you were just to buy the raw ingredients, it wouldn't. Then they're not like borax is not considered a silver. You know, it's a silver and gold flux. That looked, the same thing happened yesterday. It kind of had a line right. It looked like the soldier man has done, but I think that is just the flux. Same thing happened yesterday on the ring. It looked like a terrible job, but it was just the flux. Right, now we need a size X. Yeah, with the flux, I actually have under here, which has probably been here for years, is a traditional borax cone, and you can see that well-used borax tray. That probably needs a very good clean, and a borax brush with no metal. These are the traditional jeweler's flux. It's just too slow. You've got, like, these things tend to, they don't necessarily, yeah, they leak. They kind of wick water out the bottom. That's what that stain is on the bench, where there was where that one of these was sat there for a while. It stained the bench. It's stuck to the bench. So I've got you need a coaster for one of those. The leaking slows down as I guess those trays must be somewhat porous, and that fills with borax. The holes obviously fill with borax, but when it gets wet, it's still. I just found them a pain to keep filling with water, mixing the thing up. So even if that wasn't Argotect, I personally would buy powdered borax and either mix it with water or mix it with meths in a pot, rather than messing around with borax cones and borax trays, which I did for a very long time, because that's, you know, what you're told to do. But I never was very good at doing what I was told to do. X60, 69mm. I'm going to go slightly over though, because that 69mm is for wire that's exactly, when I made that chart I was using a wire that was exactly 1mm, and now I use wire that's a fraction over 1mm, so that once you polish it, if it needs a lot of polishing, you've got scope to do that, and it's still 1mm. Alright, triplet. Obviously you can do 1mm wire with your fingers and thumbs, but if this is one of the only rings I don't use the ring benders for. Be a big fan of the ring bending tools. I use them for pretty much everything else. Not just because of the strength. I probably could physically bend 2mm and maybe 3mm on my fingers and thumbs. But with the ring benders, it's not just the physical strength required to make this thing round. They keep it they line up the joint really nicely. Because they're parallel, whereas where the triplets are tapered, if you're trying to lining up a ring on one of those, you're invariably going to ever so slightly taper the ring. I mean, I did it for ring benders weren't. I don't think they were available when I first started. It was triplets or triplets. I don't think ring benders really came about until weren't widely available here in the UK until some point in the early noughties, I think. Maybe late 90s. But I remember the first ones I saw they weren't the ones with dies, like the Durston one I use at the moment. They were bench mounted versions of the one that you see on the edge of ring stretchers. They're still available today. But yeah, they were a horizontal type bender, not the vertical parallel dies. Stepped. Actually, no, I do remember what the first ones I saw were. They were pliers. You used to be able to get ring forming pliers. Before the bench mounted tools and the dies, I remember there being very expensive ring forming pliers. Which were effectively worked like the Durston ring bending tool, but with one die. I don't think I've got any of those. I might have. I don't think. Have I? I might have. I've got so many tools. I definitely haven't got one of the early ones because I remember they were about 80 quid. Which is rather a lot for a pair of pliers. Obviously, as soon as they got copied, they got cheaper in every respect. Like flux, gold solder. pickle, whiskey. That is nice, that Jura. Right, let's see how the size R's doing. I'll clean this off with a file. Hammer it round on a trivet. And then it'll be ready for its final sizing on a ring, stretcher, reducer, and once we've got the exact size R, polishing. I need a multi-camera live streaming setup. But before we get that, we need some viewers. Or at least to fund it. I think they're expensive. This is a Cut 6 Barrett escapement file I'm using, but it's really old, very worn. So it was a Cut 6, I don't know what it is at the moment. It's more like an emery stick. But unlike an emery stick, it's uniformly cut. It doesn't have ragged edges. That'll do. Alright, triplet, rawhide mallet. Right, if you're watching this and you need to buy, ideally, a British made. They are, some of these are made in the UK, because what you don't want is an Indian one. And if you've bought an Indian one of the cheap ones, often they've got a screw going through them. If you smell it, it will absolutely stink. And because in India, the way they tan the leather is with dog shit. Now I can tell you that because I used to sell Indian rawhide mallets, and when you open the box of them, it's a box of dog shits. Yeah, you can look that up on the internet if you want. We used to do it in England, but it got outlawed. People's job was going around collecting it for the tanneries, but they still do it. A little bit over there, we'll be generous on the gold. Can reduce that down. So yeah, bad news, if your rawhide mallet smells a bit, then you know why. Yeah, a bit over, but we can sort that out on the ring stretcher and reducer. So that's the size R. Let's see how the size X is doing. So yeah, needless to say, while one was mine, Royal High was made in England. It smells like leather. The smell, we used to air them out, but I mean, we're talking 6 months to a year for that stink to go. Right, we're a bit over on the X as well. There we go. So yeah, that's they have to go on the ring stretcher and the ring reducer anyway, because the ring reducer flattens them out perfectly. Well, as it's reducing, it makes them perfectly flat. And the stretching makes it. The reducer is actually brilliant for making them perfectly flat and perfectly round. Rounder than you can get on a triplet with a hammer. So there we go. There's our 2 rings. Size R, size X. Let's have a final sip of this whiskey. Ice hopefully will have mellowed it a little. Yeah, that's really good. Definitely recommend the Jura single malt, 10-year age, 10 years. The sherry finish gives it a nice smokiness. Right, that is it for today's live stream. Hope you enjoyed this look at making more gold rings. Hopefully the next one we can make something different. Toodles.